How you doing, everyone, and welcome to Dreadnought Gundam and More on PS4. And it's about time for the Dreadnought end of month game and channel update for the game of Dreadnought on the PS4 server. But this is kind of a special episode as it is around the holiday time and around the time of the new year, and we are now closing out 2019 in Dreadnought, which is quite surprising considering some of the bad news we had earlier in the year and some of the shakeups we had with problems on the server and with bugs in the game. There were many doubts if we would be playing past October, but we are still here and we are getting new content, even if they are small kernels of content. We are still getting attention from Greybox, especially from DN Raydog and DN Space Ghost, who we hope continue the fine work and we keep getting more new content for the game and more attention to any bugs or problems that we get. So I want to wish those guys and you a happy New Year's, and I hope that you all are safe. Remember, don't be the one that charges into the entire enemy team, throwing caution to the wind and being totally annihilated. And that lesson can also be applied to life. Please don't go out and do something totally off the wall and reckless. You can have a good time and make memories, but be sure to keep your safety in mind and the safety of those around you so that we can get a whole nother year of blowing you up and adding you to our kill count. Just kidding, but please be safe and have a great new year. Before we get into what's new for the game and the channel, we want to, of course, continue with our long-standing tradition of welcoming the new subscribers to the channel. And this month, that would be Assemblia Gamer, Tucker O'Donnell, MG Slater 20, Lars Luder, and 8 other subscribers that I didn't get notifications for because of their YouTube settings. Welcome to the Dreadheads, folks, and thanks for docking in Sinley Bay. And of course, I want to thank and recognize all the support and interesting comments that I get from my veteran Dreadheads that keep the channel interesting, honest, and fun. And we can say thank you to Antonio, aka Dr. Bree, who made the leaderboard recently, and I think that's great. Leonard, aka L Smoke 82, still one of the most savage Monarch captains out there. Just a total beast to deal with. Shane Na, Shadow 44, who popped back in to say hi and wish me good luck and cheer, and I'm very thankful for that. Nick Mecca, who may or may not be responsible for the one-night stand spawning of super high-performance experimental mobile suits. James Perez, whose comments I always appreciate. Manny, aka Draconis is Real, who also made the leaderboards. Congratulations, sir, you deserve it very much. Mr. D. Bart, sorry your comment got caught up in review, Mr. D. Bart. I just caught it today and I just posted it. I don't know why YouTube is so strict. You didn't break any of the rules I set for the channel. You didn't use any foul language. So I just don't know why that comment was held in review. But it's very good advice to your fellow Gunpla fans about how to more effectively use tokens in Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2. Scrote, the same thing. I always appreciate your feedback. It's well researched and comes from a source of knowledge and experience, but your comment about 1 or 2 weeks ago also got put in the review section and I didn't even get a notification for it until today. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but your comments are always insightful and appreciated. And of course, Garen Wade, the newest addition to the Dread Chat. And a special thanks and Happy New Year to all my subscribers, viewers, and players in Dread Chat. And I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season. Speaking of which, I've been spending a lot of my time off, which I haven't really had much for the holidays, playing. I know I should be making more content, and I put some out for both Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2 and especially for Dreadnought yesterday and today. And of course, I'll be putting this out on New Year's Eve. So the content is coming, but to be honest, last week I've really been playing the game, and I really miss playing the game as much as I've been playing it last week, and a lot of people have been coming out of the woodworks to play the game, and the game seems very much alive. The queue times are very low and the matches are very tough, and I've been enjoying them quite a bit. We have many new players that I see coming from the veteran ranks into legendary, and even though they get their butt kicked sometimes, they are actually pretty darn good for being such low level in legendary gameplay, and we've been having a lot of old salty veterans coming back and kicking a lot of butt, and I really appreciate that. So what is going on for the game of Dreadnought? Well, there have been many patches and updates in this last year. The most recent one is the winter update patch, and before that we had market updates, and we had 2 fall updates, 2 summer updates, and these updates are much appreciated. They are tweaking the game, especially paying attention to underused or underwhelming modules, trying to make them slightly better, giving them slight buffs so that they can perform better and give us more choices instead of introducing new modules or new game mechanics that might throw balance off and kind of tick everyone off the way that Rupture or super armored Corvettes did. They're making subtle tweaks to the game to introduce us to modules that we don't really use, and now that we are using some of those old modules we were ignoring, it's almost like getting new content, and it isn't affecting other modules that are still very popular to use with players. Also, about 4 to 6 months ago, you've seen a gradual, small, subtle buff to artillery cruisers, where we have the Oberon artillery cruisers getting a higher rate of fire. We have Akula Vector artillery cruisers getting a small damage buff about twice. And then, of course, a long time ago, we had a range buff for the very fragile but powerful Jupiter Arms artillery cruisers. The other major but small change to the game is that Dreadnoughts are no longer impervious to damage, even if they still stock up on armor booster pulse and armor amplifier, which many still do. They are no longer perfectly invulnerable, and at least some damage will leak through, and this has kind of changed the whole Dreadnought purpose in the game. Instead of trying to abuse their modules and officer briefings to become invulnerable and bully other ships, now they depend on tactical cruisers and other ships for support and still fulfill their job as tanks, but are now a little more vulnerable, and this has kind of shifted a lot of gameplay to include modules that were not really being used by Dreadnoughts, but they are still very powerful and dangerous, but now they need more of your support. So Dreadnoughts did get a small nerf, but I've been playing Dreadnoughts, and let me tell you, there were a lot of things to knock out those armor buffs anyway. So the amount of damage that's coming through, you just have to be smarter with your shields and know when to use your modules more effectively, and it really doesn't affect your gameplay all that much. But there are no more 6-pack 7 suicide runs using armor modules and desperate measures, so that's kind of gone away to the wayside. There have been many other tweaks to the game and many new items in the market, which is great for me. I don't know about you guys, but I have been buying more items in the market because they look cool and I want to support the game, but they haven't been breaking the bank. I do have a kind of self-imposed budget. I don't want to spend too much money on the game until they really come out with something earth-shattering, but I do throw them $10, $20 a month just to keep it going and get my hands on some very good items that they've been releasing and pacing the release of, which is really good. There are still some things that I know they have completed in the digital storage room over there at Graybox, but they aren't releasing it yet. They're pacing themselves and releasing things every month to keep the game new and fresh and hopefully keep a constant state of revenue coming into the game. So if you want to know more about a lot of these patches and changes, let's say that you haven't played the game in a couple months and you missed some of the updates, you can go ahead and check out the update section on my channel. I always post within a day or two an update video for each and every patch, and I like to try to keep up with all the news about Dreadnought and pass that news to you. And also lately I've been really trying to focus on the current game meta, current module builds, and giving you the best advice to enhance your gameplay while also giving you hints and pointers and hopefully helping you to make new meta and make new builds, and maybe one day you can kick my butt using those builds, and that's just fine. However, I do want to return to replays. I do miss replays, and I'm really backlogged on a bunch of really good replays. Most of my games are kind of average for me anyway. I've been averaging about 13-0, 13-1 in most games. Some games I do much better. Other games I try to experiment with new builds and I kind of get my butt kicked. I was out there yesterday in a tier 4 Vindicta and I was getting my butt kicked, but I had a couple of really good matches. But I do have 3 Dreadnought replays I really want to show, and about 2 double replay sessions for Mobile Suit Gundam Battle Operation 2 that I'm just dying to get out there. But even though I know you guys like the replays, the numbers don't lie, and more of you seem to like the tips and strategy videos. And I did start the Legendary Journey series, and I intend to complete that series. Not only is it pretty popular, but I think a lot of players can benefit from it. However, I have noticed that some of my videos of late have been getting pretty long. Don't think that I haven't noticed. I've been trying to trim them down, but some of these topics that I cover, as popular as they are, it's really hard to get them under 20 minutes, especially some tips and strategy videos. My old tips and strategy videos I could get into under a half an hour, but when you're dealing with builds with multiple ship types and multiple ship classes, with the old meta, the new meta, and going over the entire module tree and many other tips about strategies and how to use ships, it's really hard to get that into a video that is under an hour or under 45 minutes. But I'm going to try, and I want to make sure that at least every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks max, every 1 week if possible, but I'm going to probably put them out every 2 weeks. We are going to complete the Legendary Journey and really put out all the information that I know about each class and each mega corporation in that class from tier 3 to tier 5. So even if you are a veteran of the game and you have your favorite 1, 2, or 3 ships, if you want to keep the game more interesting and make the game fun for you and explore and expand into other ship classes or other ship types, you probably want to check out those videos for the advice to fast track your experience in the game and get those ships where you want them to be. And if you're a new player, you will totally benefit from that. But I do intend to go back to some shorter videos, especially player submitted replay casts. I have one from Scroat that I really want to do, and I just haven't had the time to do it. And I'm hoping to get more player submitted replay casts that share the same game, because I think that's a very interesting experience. I think I enjoy it, viewers enjoy it, players enjoy it, having that pseudo esports experience of watching a game from several points of views. But I also love just casting player submitted replays. I think the difference in gameplay between me and many other players is quite a contrast, and some of the replays I get from the viewers, subscribers, and players on Dread Chat are simply fast-paced and amazing, while others are very cerebral, strategic, very interesting and patient. It's such a wide variety of play styles, and I absolutely love it, and I want to get back into that. But I do have some other projects I want to get out there, and even though some of them may run a little longer than the 20-minute milestone that I like to set for my videos, I've wanted to do them for a while, and I think the community has wanted them for a while, and I think that it'd be nice to get them out of the way, and then maybe I can get back into just putting out some normal replays or putting out some short and funny videos. But I also want to put out your ideas. There have been a lot of feedback to me from you about what you want to see in the game, and now that we have DN Raydog paying a lot more attention to us, and we have some positive movement from the development at Greybox. I think it'd be nice to hear a lot of your ideas, and maybe together we can submit that through Dread Chat and through the forums, and maybe some of that feedback can get heard, and maybe we might see that in the game one day. But I wouldn't hold your breath for some of the stuff that requires more development and money, such as carriers and the like. But small tweaks to appearance, new officer briefings, or maybe expendable resources that you have to complete missions to get, or possibly incorporating some of the maps from Havoc, or maybe modifying some of the current maps we have to look different so that we have different types of gameplay experiences instead of memorizing every pixel of the old maps. So hopefully that will get to them, but we may not know. But that's what I'm planning to do in the new year for my channel. A little of the new stuff, but also a lot of the old stuff. And hopefully we can continue to gain momentum and hopefully get more of a player base and community for the great game of Dreadnought. And hopefully we will be playing this game until we see PlayStation 5, which is backwards compatible, by the way. Well, I think that'll about do it for the end of December and the end of 2019, and I'm so glad all of you are still around and playing the game, and I hope it stays that way. Remember to have a great and fun new year, but also remember to be safe and have a safe place to pass out, no matter how much or how little you drink. Well, that's it from me for now, and I'll see you soon in Sinley Bay.